welcome to episode 13, lucky number 13, of the Smart Leader Sell podcast. And I am Jessica Lorimer, sales coach, leadership expert, and your hostess for today with, I should say co-hostess, I guess, because you are here, with the lovely Sam Bearfoot, who is one of my favorite biz friends, clients, colleagues, general Instagram gurus. So, you know, I feel like I've bigged you up now. Now you go. Yeah. Tell us. Tell us who you are.
But yeah, 13 is a good number for me because I was born on the 13th. So I actually embraced the whole 13 thing.
Oh.
So, yeah, all good. But yeah, hi, Sam Bearfoot. Making visibility effortless is what I do best. And I'm quite partial to a drop of Instagram on Twitter. I love a bit of hashtagging, Instagramming, stories, feed, all that kind of good stuff.
You do. In fact, actually, for anybody who is perusing Instagram accounts, I have some Instagram stories on my Instagram from Sam when we did a takeover day. I want to say 4 months ago. Am I right?
Did we do, was it June or July? Yeah, I think it was June, you know.
It was a long time ago.
I think because you're still on my feed as well. Yeah. You're still in my feed as well. Yeah.
I can't actually work out how to put new Instagram stories up. So for anyone who's perusing the feed, when you see Sam on mine and you think, wow, she doesn't have red hair. No, that's because it's Sam and not me.
Yeah, exactly.
I should actually start going through.
You should, because it's very engaging and people will love you for it.
Exactly. But today we have Sam here, which I'm really excited about because we're going to do a deep dive Q&A session. Sam's brought a really juicy question to the table.
Yeah.
I'm excited and also slightly nervous to answer because it can go so many different ways. But fun fact time. Give us a fun fact. What's the fun fact that other people don't know about you that we really should?
I can independently move my eyes.
Okay, that's weird and gross, but I have to see. Do it now.
But I can't. Hang on a minute, because they can't see what I'm doing.
No, but I can.
But look at this eye. Ready?
Okay. Oh my goodness. That is like the weirdest, grossest thing I've ever seen.
And I can do it with both my eyes. I was the kid, like in science, when you're a kid and you're learning about stuff like that. And I remember his name was Mr. McManus. He was my science teacher.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, the muscles in the eyes and stuff like that. And he was like, people can't independently move their eyes. So, of course, my hand has gone up in the background and I've gone, but Sarah, I can do that. No, you can't, Sam. No, I can, and I'll show you. So I had to get up in front of him, and he was like, okay, you've just broken the laws of science. I'm like, well, okay, I'm here for.
I have a modern miracle.
I tell you how I learned how to do it as well. Yeah. So when I was a kid, and I'm still a little bit like this now, I was obsessed with checking my mascara hadn't run. And obviously as a kid, you're not allowed makeup. So you can't just bust out your mirror, your compact mirror. So I used to look in the reflection of my glasses.
Oh.
And that's how I learned how to do it.
That's super smart. That's really smart. Also still really creepy, really, really creepy.
Really creepy. Do you know what? It's actually really cool when you're perhaps around a table and lots of people have been drinking apart from you. Yeah. And because I can hold it for a really long time. So I've done it before, and I'm sat, we're sat around a dinner table, everyone's had a bit too much wine, and I'm driving perhaps, so I'm designated driver, I'm sitting there, and I can hold it for ages, and you can see sort of people look at you and sort of look back, and then they just say, is she looking normal, or am I drunk, or what's going on? So it's actually kind of cool. I like it.
That's amazing. I love that. I can do a tongue thing, which I will show you one day. Yeah. That sounds really wrong. But anyway, I can do this really cool thing with my tongue where I can make my tongue stick to the top of my mouth, and then it looks really, really odd and kind of like there's a shark fin in my mouth. I'll post a photo of it on social media.
Yeah, post a photo.
It's my only party trick.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, there we go. I'm glad that we've shared our eye tricks, tongue tricks with everybody here. That's awesome. But obviously you are the queen of Instagram, and I have to talk about this because I'm always seriously impressed with the amount of growth that you have on Instagram. So to put it into perspective, Sam has been a client of mine since December 2016?
Yeah.
And she came and she was like, I rock the Instagram space. And I was like, okay, cool. That's awesome. And I watch people, and I see a lot.
I could totally see you going, yeah, okay, I've heard this before. I know.
Well, yeah.
Place.
Exactly. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Thinking that she maybe got like, I don't know, a couple of thousand followers. And Sam had got like 10,000 followers. So I was like, okay, this is more impressive. Because that is a good, sizable following. And then you set up a new Instagram account. And this is brilliant. So the title of the new Instagram account is the Boomfuckers Academy, which it's just, I mean, come on, epic title, like epic. So epic that Instagram did try and shut it down, but
they did shut it down.
It was brought back. We revived that.
We brought it back to life. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And you got how many followers in like a week?
Oh, I don't know, 500 or something.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's now been open. We opened that at the end of June, so we opened the Academy at the end of June. It's now the beginning of October, and we're at nearly 8,000.
And that's crazy. That's June, July, August, September, October, 5 months, 8,000 followers. Yes, I had to count out on my fingers. I'm a good man. But that's a crazy amount of growth. And I think that, people come certainly to me all the time and they say, oh, how can I get traffic? And I'm like, traffic is everywhere. Most people focus on Facebook groups, and I'm sure we'll touch on this later and why you're not like a big fan. But most people are focusing on Facebook groups and telling me all the time how saturated they are and how difficult it is to get out the traffic and da-da-da. And I'm looking at people like you who are knocking it out of the park on Instagram. I'm looking at people who are knocking it out of the park on Pinterest, who are rocking it on Twitter. People are still doing Periscope. And everyone thought I was dead in the water. I was like,
yeah, I'm still doing Periscope, yeah.
People are still rocking Periscope out of the park. And I'm just like, so don't tell me that you can't get traffic, because if Sam can get 8,000 followers in 5 months on Instagram, it just goes to show consistency is key. Having a strategy, being consistent, doing the work. I love it. I love it. And I love that account. So
yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, as you know, I've just taken some time out. I've been away for 2 weeks. And I literally, it's the first time actually since I really started working on my Instagram account that I've actually taken an Instacation. So I haven't posted. So I left my post with one epic post, silence is better than bullshit. Because, that was it. And that was me saying, I'm tired. I need some time out. I need some space. And I don't want to deliver bullshit. So I'm just going to go silent for a while. That was kind of the post. And I've actually come back to nearly 1,800 followers in that space of time. And I haven't actually posted anything.
That's crazy, isn't it? See, he's got all the secrets. But I guess, sadly, we're not here to talk about Sam's Instagram secrets. No. You can go and check that out anytime you want. The links will be in the show notes. But what is your biggest sales question today? What are you bringing to the table for me to work my way through?
Yeah, okay. So, as you know, because you've taught me how to do it, 16K in 6 weeks, cash creation, just putting that in there. One of the things I used to really struggle with, and I say used to because I don't struggle now, is creating income for myself. So I know that if I put in the effort, I can get a really decent earning out of that. And that's all good. So for me now, and as you know, being my coach, the last 6 to 8 weeks or so has really been focusing more on the passive side of things as opposed to actually getting up and going and working. So my question is, how do you scale passive income?
It's a juicy one, isn't it? Because I think what happens is,
because I have it now does happen. It never used to happen. So now it does happen. I do have make sales in my sleep, which is the thing that everybody goes on about. But I obviously now want to scale that and increase that to match the earnings that I would make, by my posting and being visible and all that kind of stuff. So that's where I'm at.
It's a really interesting one because for me, passive income is not passive. That's the first thing I'd say. We can make sales in our sleep, but the amount of work we have to do in order to make that happen consistently, especially when you're looking at replacing a revenue stream with it, it's actually quite a lot of work. Just kind
it is hard. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is hard.
And that's the thing. So I think for me, there are 2 strands to it. One is anytime you want more sales, you need to be driving targeted traffic to the offer. You need eyeballs. You need people looking at it. So when you're looking at scaling a passive product, the first thing you need to do, and you've obviously done this, is you get a passive product that actually sells and that does the job. So once you've got that, life becomes a little bit easier because you actually know who's buying it, how to answer the questions, what commonly comes up in terms of objections, price points are good, testimonials are good, all that jazz. The next thing that needs to happen once you've got that proven product or service, is that you go, okay, where can I get more traffic? And that's the irritating bit. And that's when people are looking at passive income and scaling passive income, we need to also scale our expenses. So we need to also scale, what are we putting into paid traffic?
Yeah.
Or how are we finding targeted traffic and constantly pushing it through to that passive product? So if you're a massive blogger, actually getting traffic across and getting eyeballs onto your passive income product is relatively easy because you're writing blogs consistently and you are writing them congruently to the product that you're going to be selling. You, for example, and I'm just going to throw this one out there, Sam used to be a top-notch podcaster before she was the Instagram guru. She was the lady who got like 500,000 downloads on a podcast. So again, it's not coming down to scaling the product up necessarily. It's about how much more traffic can we drive to it. So that's part one. The second part to it is, what are we doing on the back end of that funnel? And that's where we start to go into funnel chat. When we're talking about passive income, the reason that people like Russell Brunson make a ton of money off of products that are typically lower priced and typically don't require his support is because he's making a lot of money on the back end. So the funnel is, and he uses the staircase analogy, so let's roll with that one. The passive income product is the first thing the audience member gets, and then they are upsold into a value ladder. And so everything else is additional. So it might be that you sell a passive income product. I have like sales scripts so that people can maximize the amount of money they're making on sales calls and get their conversions nailed. And that's $27. So it's quite easy for people to pick up and purchase and decide that they, have loved it and they're using it and they're doing well. And then to upsell them into something that is up to $100 because they've just got value. They've just seen the value of it and they've just realized how great it is. Of course, they're going to want to buy the next thing. And your value ladder scales from there. So you end up moving from passive income product all the way up to, ideally, high ticket premium offerings, which for you would be around intensives or around Instagram growth done for you services. Right? And that's how you end up scaling it. So first point is traffic, get more eyeballs on it. Second point is, look at the value ladder behind it. Because ultimately, passive income is not, A, it's not passive, and B, unless your passive income stream is premium priced, so you have like a 1997 course that you're constantly running traffic to, it's not where the majority of your profit's going to be made. We're not going to make millions off of a $27 product. That's not going to happen. I mean, eventually we will make millions, but it's not going to be the thing that kind of pays your mortgage right now immediately. Value ladder is where that profit's coming from.
Okay, so the question in my head is it, and I too have a $27 product which sells really well. So behind that, when you say the ladder analogy, do you then, the thank you page, is that sending them to an upsell, or is it a case of you're delivering a $27 product and then you're going to send them some email support after that, and 2-3 days after that, then you hit them with some extra value in the shape of a $100 product?
Yeah, so it depends on how you sell. Personally, I have upsells on some of my stuff if I think it's going to be congruent and if I think it would genuinely benefit that person to bundle two purchases together for a cheaper price. That to me is a no-brainer. If I can give somebody a limited time discount on something that's genuinely congruent to something they just bought. So for example, if they buy sales scripts or something, I could go and sell my list building mini course as an upsell, because in order to do more sales or more sales calls, you need a list. You need
a list,
Right? So that I agree with. If it's congruent, have it on the thank you page, have it as a pure upsell, do it as a limited time thing, because ultimately what you don't want is to put people in some kind of really long launch process for something that again is $100 or less. If I don't have something that is immediately congruent, because obviously what we don't want to do is sell passive products and make people feel like unless they buy the next one, they're not going to get the use out of the first one.
Yes.
We're not holding them to ransom here. We're not making them think, oh, well, the first product was obviously crap because now they're trying to sell me something else. We want it to be congruent. We want it to be a good experience. So if you have something that is higher ticket, I'd recommend that after you deliver the first product and after you, have sent like the odd follow-up email that says how are you getting on with it, like in what you're doing, then you start them into a sequence for something that is higher ticket. So $1,000 plus.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, all right. So like you say, in that case, then it would go into my intensive one-on-one work.
Yeah. But in the future, you might have a course that's like say 1997.
A bigger course. Yeah.
And it might be an automated thing that actually you do move people into. I have a course that's 1497 and I have one that's 1997, and we sell those through automated funnels. And actually, yes, we spend more to acquire the customer in terms of paid traffic, but actually we get people who are buying that. And if, even if one person buys every day of the week, it's a good week.
It's a good week. Yeah, exactly.
That's what you've got to look at. So when it comes to passive income, I'd be looking at not just the low ticket stuff. I think that's what we get quite caught up in, particularly in the online space. Everyone wants to sell.
I think it's everywhere, isn't it? I think you're so bombarded with so many people that are really successful, making it sound easy. And it's not easy. It's taken me years to even be able to say that I do make passive income every month, every week. Do you know what I mean? It's taken a really long time for that to happen. But nobody really talks about that transitional stage of where you are, where you've gone from not doing it to achieving it, and then from achieving it to scaling it. The bit in the middle, people very rarely speak about.
I think it's because passive income's sexy, right? Like you said earlier, you're like, I'm making money in my sleep, and that's what everyone wants to do.
Yeah, it's that trigger phrase, isn't it? That everyone seems to want to be able to do.
And that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, we want to be making money while we're sleeping. That's great. It's fantastic. Blah, blah, blah. But also, it's, there is a lot of work. And I think what happens is that people can try and jump into passive income before they've actually perfected their sales process. So, and it's not because they particularly even want to do the make money while you sleep thing. It's because they're like, oh, I'm too scared to sell at high ticket price. How many times have you seen that? Where people are like, oh, it must be easier to sell something at $27 than it is at $2,000. It really isn't. It's going to be the same amount of work. And
it's the same. Yeah.
You're going to have to do the same amount of marketing, promotion. You're going to have to do the same amount of work putting it together. So you may as well start with a high ticket offer that is actually going to make you the profit to give you that financial stability before you have to start worrying about things. Whereas what I see a lot online is that people want to jump straight to sexy. They're like, oh no, it's cool. I've had a business for 6 months and I'm not making 5K a month yet, but what I want to do is sell something for $27. And when we actually look at the reality of that and we say, okay, well, how big is your audience? If you have 100 people in your audience and you want them to buy something that is $27, that's not going to make you the money that you want to be making.
No.
And that's the difference. Plus, you couldn't guarantee that every single person in your audience would buy. So you might have 100 people, but if 10% buy, you're looking at $270.
Yeah, which is nothing.
For a lot of work, for the exact same amount of work. And so I think that's probably why people don't talk about it, because when people do talk about it, they want it to seem easy. Bear in mind, most of the people who are the ones selling the passive income dream are sales coaches like me, except I don't sell passive income dreams. But, most of them are people who are biased. They are invested in you creating a passive income product and selling it. And there are two things. Sometimes they genuinely are really excited for you to have financial freedom and for you to be able to go away and make money in your sleep and do that kind of thing. And certainly when you're in the right place financially, when you are stable, when you have understood how to make money in your business and you've got that coming in regularly every month, perfect. Unfortunately, what we see a lot is people preying on people who don't want to charge premium prices because they're not confident yet. And so what happens is everyone ends up trying to sell all these $27 products. Or recently I've seen a spate of people just start up a membership site. They're like, oh no, it's cool, I'm going to start up a membership site. And I'm like, you don't have a big enough audience because of the attrition rate, because of, you know, the difficulty in terms of retaining and creating content and things like that. It doesn't make sense. Sell a ticket and then scale out to passive income when you have the finances to put into paid traffic. You know,
makes sense.
Audience. Like you have a decent sized audience. You've got 10,000 followers on one account, 8,000 on another. That's 18,000 people. If you get, you know, 10% of those buying in a year, you've done really well from passive income. And then in terms of scaling it, it's then a case of that value ladder. What comes next? What's congruent for those people? What can you automate? And what can you create from there?
Yeah. So what about when you say paid traffic? My automatic mind goes to Facebook ads, but that's not the only way of doing it, is it?
No, there are so many different types of ads now. Twitter ads, bizarrely, have been converting really well for me. I'm not sure why. I only have 230 followers on Twitter, so maybe that's why my ads are doing so well. But no, seriously, Twitter ads have done really, really well for me this year. You can also look at Pinterest advertising. Very, very under.
I've been on Pinterest for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
I go on it every time, you know, I want to do something to a room in the house. I just look at other people's DIY and kind of
crazy
admire it. But yeah, seriously, Pinterest, massively undersaturated in terms of advertising. And it's also very subtle ads. You know, when you're scrolling through the Facebook feed, you can always tell a business coach's adverts because they're like jazz hands. It's literally their ad is like, hi, I'm here. Here's how I make 6 figures in 6 minutes and buy this thing. Whereas on Pinterest, the ads are actually quite subtle and smart. And I like that. You know, I can be scrolling through. It's not obtrusive, but they've worked really hard to make sure that it enhances my experience as a user. And I enjoy that. You know,
I see. I have tinkered with Instagram adverts, and without getting too techie on you, my money is better placed in different ways with Instagram, as aside from ads. But yeah, I know I could potentially try Pinterest, didn't I? Because it is a similar image-based platform. So cool. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, that's where I'm at essentially, isn't it? Is now where I have a bit of an established income, putting some money into ads in some way.
Absolutely. And I think this is the thing. Again, and we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. You can only go where you are. When we try and do the sexy stuff first, like if you'd have started your business, or if you'd have come to me back in December last year and gone, Jess, I only want to do passive income, I would have said, no, don't work with me. Work with somebody else.
Go away.
Yeah, go over there. But also, you know, look at the things that you've learned this year, and as a result have created passive income products around that have really benefited other people. You know, you made 16K in 6 weeks in January. It was phenomenal. And you worked and went through other people's social media accounts and made their visibility skyrocket in ridiculously short periods of time, which meant that actually your passive income products had already been tested and they were proven and they already worked. We already knew that, which made yours a lot easier to launch. Now it's a case of going, great, they're launched. I just need to be consistently driving the traffic there, you know, and you know as well as I do, if you're putting 20% of your Instagram posts as calls to action to get people doing that, and you're making consistent sales from that, perfect. Other ways you could look at would be, okay, do I want to look at any organic traffic? Am I going to, you know, be a guest on a podcast? Oh, hey. Am I going to be a guest on a podcast? Am I going to, you know, be featured in blogs? Am I going to guest blog myself and drive that traffic over to those things? And you can play around with it organically and work out who who in the cold traffic space is buying those things immediately, and then you can utilize paid traffic. See?
Exciting times.
I know. I do love a bit of paid traffic chat. I'm like, we're recording this on a Wednesday. So for everybody now, you know that the secret behind this podcast is that we actually record the interviews on a Wednesday. I like to make sure that we're prepared. But it is one of those things where paid traffic is great only when you're ready for it. You are somebody you're somebody who's ready to scale passive income. If you're not making 5K a month consistently, passive income is not your friend right now, nor is paid traffic. See?
I mean, do you know what? It's nearly been a year, hasn't it? It's probably been a year since I first discovered you.
Look at that. It's like our anniversary.
And how different is my business in that year?
It's insane. I do remember you coming to me when you were about to buy Cash Creation.
Yeah.
And saying, I don't know whether I want to invest in something else.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's up to you. Like, do or don't.
Yeah, you was really, and I was like, oh, she's not going to try and convince me.
The only sales coach that won't sell to me. But that's the thing. And you did it. And I remember you saying, I'm going to be your best student. And you were. Like, you went out of the gate like somebody had put a rocket in a very uncomfortable place. And you did. You sold 80, I think it was
87 in the end,
87 of your Instagram courses. And it was phenomenal. 87 straight out of the gate. And, we're talking small audience.
It was kind of the very first time that I had tapped into Facebook groups.
Yeah. It was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. That first 6 weeks you made 16K. It was absolutely unbelievable. And you've literally just gone from strength to strength.
It's just changed so much. Like, my target audience has completely changed. Just everything that we spoke about then, other than the Instagram course that still exists now, although it's very different, it's all completely different, really.
And that's the thing. I mean, when we look at your journey in terms of revenue, obviously your revenue has skyrocketed and you've been consistent. But in terms of your life-wise, I mean, you work 2 days a week, 3 days on some weeks, but you are a full-time mum.
Yeah.
You work 3 days a week. You literally just moved house into, I might add, a beautiful house. Sam is in my membership site and did a little video just for the dotties on what it actually looks like. And her house had like deer in the garden and big old farmhouse. It's really beautiful. But I think life-wise, that's the massive thing for me that I've noticed, is that you are so much more relaxed now. And you just do things, and you're like, you've still got the drive and you've still got the ambition. But you're just like, yeah, I'm full-time mum. And when I'm mum, and that's it. And you send me voxers about cleaning up vomit from the cream carpet and, all that kind of thing. And then when you're in work mode, you do your thing, but you're actually enjoying it. And that's really nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to one of the ladies that reached out to me recently, actually, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because at that point where I was last year, it was the point where I had, in capital letters, had to make it work because it was literally completely broke. And I said to her, even if something made me feel uncomfortable, I had to make my business work. And my drive and passion and willpower was the driving force to make that happen, to make me step up into the not looking so camera ready role. But I'm a mum, and that's the only way that I could have done it. And and I said to her, are you doing everything possible to make your business work? And her answer was, no, clearly I'm not. I'm not going to it's never going to work for you. And that's why it's not working for you, because you are not stepping fully up into that zone. Now, it's a lot more effortless for me. But it's because I've been doing it for ages, and I am now at the point where I just don't care if I look camera ready or not, because I actually get the feedback that people like it, that I show up in the morning with my cup of tea in my pajamas on my Instagram stories. because that makes me a human being.
And that's the thing though, you can't cut out the steps. I was saying this to somebody the other day, and I was like, look, it's great that you want a 7-figure business.
Don't we all?
Yeah, of course. Like, you know, everybody I talk to these days, like it used to be when I first started out, everyone wanted a 6-figure business. Now apparently we've all up to 7.
That's like yesterday. Yesterday.
Tomorrow everyone will want 8-figure businesses, and I'll be like, I haven't hit that quite yet myself. So could you give me a couple of weeks and then we'll talk about it? But in all seriousness, it has come to a point where I think the expectations of workload are lower. You know, people want to start out working 3 days a week. People don't want to invest in themselves. They would rather somebody else invested in them and paid them first, and then they might go ahead and do it. And it's become like a trade-off. And when I would say to people, I'm like, who do you admire? You know, and they go, oh, I admire Gary Vee, or I admire Tony Robbins, or I admire Oprah, or whoever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what did they do that you're not doing? They're like, oh, well, they always talk about how they, you know, worked for like 10 years beforehand, and, you know, they had all these coaches and they invested in the program and stuff. I'm like, so why do you think you can do it without doing those things?
Yeah, exactly.
10 years, obviously it doesn't. And if you have a great coach, then of course you don't. But you can't skip the fundamental steps.
No.
And get the same results.
No, absolutely. And but people ask me quite a bit. They sort of come to me and say, well, you know, how long have you been doing what you're doing? I'm like, well, I've been in the sort of coaching, I don't really like calling it that, but coaching capacity for sort of just over a year. But I've actually worked on my own business for 11 years. So, you know, previously to that, I was in the health industry. Yes, I had my own podcast, I had a radio show, all that kind of stuff. But I did that for over a decade. So I've spent my years learning about this stuff, learning about audiences and traffic and growth and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I probably look quite new in the Instagram space, but when you actually look at my social media across the years, I've been doing it a really long time.
And that's the thing, you know, I think we don't all have to take years and years and years to get the same levels of success, because obviously when we grow, when we actually spend time on our own learning and development, we tend to grow very quickly. You know, if you're committed, that's the
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? You're not gonna make it happen.
It doesn't happen overnight, people.
Exactly. But it does happen quicker than you think once you start doing the right stuff. Have a clear strategy, be resilient in terms of your frame of mind, and actually execute the plan. And then things start to happen, you know, and that will spiral from there. But it's not a case of you're going to wake up tomorrow and be an overnight millionaire. That's not going to happen in any industry unless you win the lottery. You know? Even then, I probably wouldn't count that. I'd be like, well, it was nice.
It's nice, but you didn't really earn it, did you?
Yeah, what did you do? Apart from pick the numbers. But it is that kind of thing. And I think that's the important thing with anything related to business, whether it's sales or marketing or getting more followers, building your tribe, whatever it looks like, it's going to take you work. The longer you sit and faff and, you know, you just keep thinking, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, maybe I should focus on Instagram, maybe it should be Facebook, maybe it should be whatever, the less you're actually doing. So the less you're actually going to get done in that time. So it is going to take you longer, because what would have taken you 6 months is now going to take you 12, because at the 6-month mark, you're still planning.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the thing, I think we come down to take imperfect action, i.e. show up in your gym jams with a cup of tea in the morning and actually get more followers. Or, you know, wait until like Wednesday.
You know, they actually like the fact that I just rock up. Some days, I'll have all my makeup on and I look fab. Some days I look like I've literally just fallen out of bed. Some days I look like I've, you know, been dragged through a hedge backwards. But that's just my life. And they like it. They actually like it.
There is a meme somewhere that I have to show you that is about, I'm either ready to go out or I look like I'm homeless. There is no in between.
That's me. That is exactly me. That is exactly me. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. Well, I'm so glad that you came on today. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And it's always weird for me to be on the other, even now, even though I haven't put a podcast out for 3 years, I still find it really weird that I'm on the other side of the mic.
See, we're getting used to it. But how do people find you? Obviously, Instagram.
Yeah. Instagram is just I am Sam Bearfoot, and my surname is spelled Bearfoot. Or of course you can find me at the Boomfuckers Academy. That's fine. But website is probably the best place to figure out what I'm up to, and that's makingvisibilityeffortless.com.
So there you go. If you want to check out how to make visibility easy, effortless, easy breezy, then head over and check out Sam's Instagram account, check out her website and see what she's doing. Usually some very, very exciting and innovative things. And then I'll be back on Monday doing a sneaky little deep dive training on something very, very cool, which a lot of people in my community have thrown up over the last couple of weeks. Not literally thrown up, because that would be...
Well, as I said, it might be a little messy.
Yes, just a tad. But lots of people have raised it, so I'm really excited to dive in on Monday. And I will see you then. And if you have liked what me and Sam said today, please head over, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a little review. See you Monday.